What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Mash and Drum Whiskey Room. Early Happy New Year to all of you. Hope you had a great Christmas. I sure did. It was nice and quiet this Christmas. I don't know what about you guys, but I just basically cooked all day. My mom, my girlfriend were here. We ate, watched Christmas movies, hung out, drank some good shit. That was my Christmas. But hope everyone had a very Merry Christmas and looking forward here to the new year, 2022. So hopefully we have some good things coming next year in the world of whiskey. I do have my whiskey predictions. We're going to talk a little bit about tonight. Nothing too groundbreaking, but a few things that I think are, pretty prevalent to talk to you guys about. So let's say hi to people in some chat. Hi to people in the chat. What's going on, guys? Cameron Lochner, it's time. Yes, let me go back to the top here. Greg Salt, what's going on, man? Emily Chambers, Butter, what's going on? Sugar Kitty is here, of course. Nice to see you, Sugar. Sugar Kitty, Sugar. Put an H on there, Sugar. Put an H and get rid of the R. There you go. Let's see here. Brian Toner's here. Let's see. William Wiley's here. He's not feeling good. He says he's pretty sure his cousin gave him COVID. Well, if that's the case, man, William, hope you feel better. Just, take it easy, relax, take some medicine, and hopefully you don't have COVID. But if you do, yeah, just drink some Dayquil, man, like you said. Let's see here. Kenny Killingsworth is here. What's going on, man? Cheers. Mike Franklin, the Bourbon Wrench himself. What's up, Trev? How you doing, bud? Slapshot is here. Top Dog is here. Mike Franklin. Oh, yes, before I forget, guys, Mike Franklin, Scotch Down Under. He is a great channel out of Australia. If you guys have not watched him, he only needs 48 subs to hit 1,000. Would love to get him there tonight as we're streaming live, because if he does, he will do a live stream wearing a full mankini. Not sure that's something everybody wants to see. I'd like to see it because he's just the type of crazy guy that will do it. In all seriousness, though, if you guys have never watched Scotch Down Under, he builds Legos while he's drinking for these long live streams. He has great pubs where everyone just kind of hangs out, talks great whiskey. It's also interesting to get the perspective from someone from Australia in the world of whiskey as well. So everyone, go give him a subscribe. The link is already in the chat. I already see it. He's got 48 more to go. Let's get him to 1,000, guys. Please, let's do it tonight. Oh, it says 47 now. I think it's already going up. Richie Z is in the house. Whiskey Mountains, Audriana, what's going on? There's Richie Z. How you doing, buddy? Nice to see you as always. Cameron Lochner. Tipsy Whiskey Shenanigans, what's going on, man? Just a bunch of people coming in. Jeff Perkins is here. What's going on, sir? Pop 'em, don't watch him. Guys, go check out Pop 'em, don't watch him on Instagram. He is putting together a very interesting bourbon bracket that he's going to be blind tasting in some different categories. So go check Pop 'em out on, both on his YouTube, but also check out Instagram. You can kind of hear what he's going to be doing. Really cool idea. So I'll be watching that one, Pop 'em. Adam Husted's here. What's going on, man? Whiskey Wookie. What's going on, man? Had to do that shit. Michelle Martin's here. How you doing, Michelle? Bourbon Noob, Be More Bourbon, Andy Wilson, Dave Markowski, Eric Marshall, Nate Cox, Kenneth Rathburn, a bunch of people coming in. Happy New Year. Let's see here. Four Roses, people talking. Brad Willard, what's going on, man? Big Bix in the house. Going on. Let's see. Paul Madden, Wayne Monpetit. What's going on? Jim Muller's here. What's going on, buddy? And man, just more people coming in. All right, I'll have to catch up with you guys as we go along here. Deborah C. Not sure I trust the Grinch with that Octomore. The Grinch loves Octomore. He is, because it's dark and smoky and just downright peaty, just like him. 972 and climbing. All right, yeah, let's get him there. Hey, Saucy Shane's in the house. Great channel to check out as well. Everyone go check out Saucy Shane. Donald Ransom, Master Drum, he's already going to do the Mankini stream as a fundraiser for prostate cancer, and apparently Trev Wilson has agreed to wear one on the stream as well. Well, Trev Wilson's wearing a mankini. That already should draw a lot of viewers. Friggin' Trev is going to get in there too. All right. But let's get him to 1,000 anywhere, guys, please. Cohen is here. Should I buy 1792 foolproof for $50? I like it for 50. I think that's a good price. I think that's a good price for it. Trying to say we Pete lovers are Grinches. No, I'm just saying that there's something. Oh, maybe there's something a little Grinchy about people that love Pete. Think about it. Let's see. Hey, everything spicy is here. Everything spicy. Email me at themashanddrum at gmail.com. Let's set up that hot chip challenge. I'm all ready for it, man. All right, so tonight, actually in the chat is Deborah C, and she was kind enough to send me this completely blind tasting. I have no idea what's in here, but I figured before we kick off tonight and get into the other blind tasting a little bit later, let's taste these. Now, the other blind tasting we're going to be doing a little bit later is to figure out what my last slot in my top 10 bourbons of 2021 is going to be, because I was able to name 9, and luckily I had some good bottles that came at the last minute, because I don't even know if I would have had 9. But I kind of stopped at 9. And then there was a bunch of other bourbons that were in the mix that I wasn't sure what to put through or not. So what's the best way to do it? Put them in a blind tasting, see which one I like better. I have my top 9, I think, already down pat. Now it's a matter of getting that last slot. And we're going to taste through 8 different bourbons tonight to try to figure out what's going to be in that last slot. But first, before we do that, let's taste through these and see what Deborah C sent me and see how my palate's doing tonight. So I also want to thank my my goddaughter, and they're my goddaughter is for sure, but I'm like their uncle. They sent me this shirt for Christmas called Funkle. So thank you to Will and Michaela if you're watching. Love you guys, miss you guys. I know you're back in New York. Hope I'll see you guys soon. So, all right, let's go to the first one here. Remus 5 for 80. Lionel G, that's an immediate pickup. That's an immediate. Don't even question it. Just go get it. It's amazing. Get it. Yes. All right. Bourbon Wrench is here, baby. What's going on, man? Hey, Trev, set your camera and shit up. I may have you come on a little bit later. We'll do a little Happy New Year, cheers, like we did for Christmas last week. Marshall Goldman, hey Jason, have you had the Rocket Top Rye from Redwood Empire? It's winning rye of the year for me. I have not seen those two. I know they released a rye and a bourbon, the dark green and the dark red label. Those have not come near me. I haven't been able to try those as of yet, but I heard they're really good. I just haven't seen those. Those are a couple bottles that I still haven't had a chance to try, unfortunately. So, Bourbon, that's the man right there. I'll get it set up. All right, so let's go into the first class here and see what we get. Cheers. Happy New Year, guys. Thanks for coming in and hanging out. And while I'm sipping through these, we'll go through some of my whiskey predictions before we dive into the big blind tasting. So this one, the first one here, sample A, is very soft, not getting a ton in the nose. It's very soft and very floral. Yeah, pretty soft here on the nose. Very light caramels here. Nothing crazy. Man, slightest little hint of like, I don't know if there is something very distinct on that I'm trying to pick out. Hey, Tim Cornay's in here. What's going on? Paul Madden, are you on plan reviewing the new Saints Alley lineup? I bought the Harold and it is amazing. Dude, I love the Harold, but I don't get the Saints Alley here in Ohio. They don't carry Iron Root here, unfortunately. So I can only if you want to send me samples of it, I'll review it. But yeah. Getting mix of like root beer cream soda going on. Now I'll tell you this: anytime I get root beer cream soda nowadays, it's either Woodinville or it's a Weeder. So maybe that's a Weeder, because I don't know. I've been getting like the this root beer note on wheated bourbons lately, and I don't know what's going on with it, but I don't know. Yeah, but it's extremely floral too, almost like lavender a little bit. That one's pretty crazy. All right, let's go to B here. Well, this one has a little bit of a smoke punch to it. Oh shit, we got Ed here. What's going on? Ed from where is Ed? There he is. Ed from Rock Gut Reviews here. What's going on? How you doing, man? Nice to see you as always, Ed. Ed, if you feel like coming on a little bit later, get set up. Love to have a drink with you, have a little New Year's Eve pour. All right. Let's see here. Eric, wait, Whiskey Studies is here. What's going on? Belated Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, Eric, and Merry Christmas. Let's see here. All right. Would love this in 4K. Yeah, it'd be pretty cool if it was in 4K, but if you hit the little gear on the bottom of your YouTube, I think you could put the settings on one. I think the highest it goes is 720p, unfortunately. So that's as high as it goes when you're live. Let's see here. My bourbon journey's here. 006 James Bond is calling my name. 982 for Scotch Down Under. Yes, we're close. This has a very perfumey type thing going on. My nose is like super sensitive tonight, so I'm just trying to pick up what I can. This smells like I don't know, like a candle. Like it's, again, this is also kind of floral coming off number 1. These are, what'd you send me, Deborah? All right, let's go number 3 here. All right, number 3's got your traditional, more caramel vanillas going on here. A little bit of orange. A little bit of a like cotton candy bubblegum thing going on in C as well. Man, it's weird because all 3 of them are kind of close in a weird way. Like all 3 of them have like this perfumey characteristic to it. C is a little bit darker and richer, so I'd be curious to see what these are as we go through them. Let's see here. Hey, what's up? Hank Williams Jr.'s here. We got 295 in the chat. Thank you guys so much for hanging out tonight. Happy New Year if you haven't heard me say it just yet. Early Happy New Year. Hope you guys will have a safe New Year. Let's see here. Cool Running is in the house. What's going on? Cohen, new 4-square indelible 11-year and Zinfandel Casket 48 ABV just dropped $75. I heard about that one. I think I'm getting a sample of that from actually Darrell Stewart. I don't know if he's in the chat, but I think he's sending me a sample of that one. I kind of like Zinfandel Cask for me is very hot and cold. It just, sometimes they're really good. Sometimes they don't really do too much to the bourbon formula, like not enough to make a big, punch. But I don't know. I guess we'll see how it is. And I'm, obviously a huge fan of 4-square rum. All right, let's taste the first one tonight. Here we go. I got lemon on the palate. And the palate was a little bit light, but the proof on it, the afterburn on this is coming in hot. So I was going to say immediately that was a low proof. I don't think that's the case. I think it's a little bit higher than I thought it was initially. I get like lemon. I know it's going to sound weird, but like hay. It's like a fresh cut hay type thing going on. Not grassy in a way, but oh man. And this has some spice to it. The finish on this is the star of the show. The finish on this goes on for days, but the palate is very, very soft. Very, very soft. Hey, Happy New Year, Tampa Proof. What's going on, man? 989 for the Australian. We're almost there. Come on, guys. 11 more subs for Scotch Down Under. Get him there tonight. Let's do this. Drop that link again in the chat. I mean, this is good, but there's just not enough going on the front of the palate for me to be like, wow, this is great. It's okay. But all the interesting parts of that whiskey is on the finish. So, I mean, maybe it's a wheater. Let me have a drink here. Oh, I don't know if I showed you guys this. So Corksicle, which is a brand that makes some really cool water jugs. They came out with like a Marvel Universe branded water jugs, and this is the Iron Man one. So pretty cool, actually. It's got a rubber bottom, so it doesn't slip at all, just kind of stays. Flip up top. It also has this little lever that you can carry it around with you. So, man, these are cool. I think they have the Hulk. They have Captain America. I think they have a Thor one. So they're pretty cool. I mean, they also have Star Wars one. So if you kind of, you know, a dork like I am at sometimes, then you go check them out. They're pretty cool looking. Harley Gaddis said he subbed. Awesome. Cohen Latley finished Infidel in the new Foursquare. 5 years in Infidel, 6 years in bourbon, blended with 11-year all bourbon cast. All right, so a little bit of maybe that Zinfandel will give you a little bit of sweetness there. Grinch has to stay going forward. Yeah, he's already been grumpy and doing that. Oh shit, 996. Just 4 more, and we're going Mankini. All right, let's go to number 2 here. All right, I got a lot more on the palate on that one. That was nice. More flavor. Man, a little bit. Let me another sip of that one. We hit 1,000? Yes. Yes. We done did it. Congratulations, guys. About to pull out a promo code for I'm a Hydro Flask fangirl. No, I don't have a promo. I don't like, you know, Corksicle doesn't I don't think they know who I am, but I'm just saying I love their water bottles. But yeah. Yeah, I like Yeti and the Corksicles. They tend to work pretty well. That Corksicle though, I bring to the gym when I'm working out because it's got a straw in it, so you could it's easy to just drink right from it. Yes, the world is not ready for this, but hey, you guys wanted it to happen. You guys wanted an Australian and a Mankini. Well, it's happening. Again, more of that like fresh cut, like hay type thing going on. Vanilla, a little bit of like vanilla cream, I think. Mike Franklin kicking off the first super chat of the night. Oh, snap, 1K for Scotch and Under. Thanks for the support. Cheers all. Absolutely, man. I think we also had called out, let's see, I think Ed hit a pretty big milestone not too long ago. If you guys haven't heard yet, Whiskey Tornado Lance, he just hit 4,000 subscribers. Of course, Scott for My Bourbon Journey, he hit 10 not too long ago. I mean, that's right. The only promo he shields for is model trains. Can I unsub that because I don't want to see it? No, it's too late, Scott. You must watch it. GG says, Happy New Year's. Just got lucky this year and won Ohio's lottery purchase of Van Winkle 15. You lucky son of a bitch, GG. That's awesome, man. Congrats. That's the one Pappy Van Winkle I would like to own is a 15-year. That's it. You could keep the 20 to 23. Or if I happen to get a 2023, I'll sell them. But the 15-year, I'd take and drink all day. That's a great bourbon. GG, hope you plan on drinking that and sharing it with family, friends, and other people who could appreciate it. It's definitely that's the one Pappy to own and to get. Absolutely. Let's see here. Yeah, the Bourbon Wrench. I think Trev, you just hit a pretty big milestone. Didn't you hit a few thousand as well, or 4 or 5? I don't know what you're up to again. How about Van Winkle Rye? Yeah, nope. I got Van Winkle rye in a blind tasting, and it's the most underwhelming rye whiskey. There was nothing about it that was endearing. It was okay. I wouldn't. Maybe the old Van Winkle rye, but the one they're presently making now, nope. Nope. I would sell that one too. There's just nothing interesting enough about it. It drinks too easy. It's an okay rye. There's really, when I put it in a blind against a couple of others that were either half its price or a lot easier to find, it got destroyed. It actually finished last, I think, or second to last. It did not do well. So, Lot B, nope. Lot B, I wouldn't take either. Lot B is probably my most hated of the Van Winkle lineup because it's all Lot B is. It's a glorified Weller 12. And I already have to pay enough to get Weller 12 if I want Weller 12. Lot B, yes, there are better years than others, but it's a glorified Weller 12. So you're looking at same proof, same age. What am I paying for? Because it comes in a wine-shaped bottle with a Lot B on it. It just, yes, there are some differences there, but not enough to warrant that type of a price jump. If I'm going to spend $400 or $500 to get a Weller 12, I'm certainly not going to pay $1,200 to $1,500 to over $2,000 for a Lot B. There's not enough of a gap there in the flavor profile. Very old Rip, very old. The 10-year one. I like the 10-year old Rip Van Winkle, but only at retail. I wouldn't overpay for it. It's a solid 107 proof bourbon, but the guys that spend $600, $700, $800 to get that bottle, guys, there are so many good bourbons now and whiskeys just available that I just feel like Pappy and all that shit. It's just kind of lost its luster for me. Like, would it be cool to own one? Yeah. Like, it'd be great to have that bottle on my shelf. But I'm not like 6, 7 years ago, if you asked me, yeah, like I really wanted that bottle. But there's so much good shit being created today from craft distilleries and just shit that's available on the shelf. I don't need to chase it. And like, I go to guys' houses that have Pappy and they like to show it off. It doesn't impress me. It doesn't impress me anymore. It just doesn't. Like, bottles that impress me are like, older turkeys or something rare, something different, something I've never seen. But Pappy's and Old Rip and Lot B, that's not where it's at anymore. I'm sorry to say. Just not. This has a nice little, there's like a smoky aspect to it, which I'm digging. Also, great finish. This has the finish. This has palate and finish. Let's see what the last one brings here. Oh, well, that one might be the best one right there. This is probably the most impactful on the. We have matured. Yeah, I think overall people have matured in the bourbon. Like, if you guys know whiskey, you know bourbon. If you're watching this channel, you're watching other channels, you're like in the top, most of you in like the top, 5-10% of whiskey drinkers because you're enthusiasts and what's out there, what's worth chasing and what isn't. There's just so much damn good whiskey nowadays. It's hard to, I can't hold Pappy at that level anymore. It just doesn't do it for me, unfortunately. BTAC, however, I still love me a good BTAC. I'll still hunt down George T. Stagg, William Lou Weller. Those two bottles I'll still definitely hunt down. Let's see here. I wore my Rock Gut Review t-shirt to bed last night. Had nightmares all night long. I jumped all my bottles of Ardbeg turned into bottles of Jepson Malort. Yes, that's definitely a hey, what's up, Robert? My husband says you should start an FU Friday. I just had Van Winkle 12 and Weller 12. Van Winkle killed Weller, in my honest opinion. Van Winkle 12 and Weller 12. Van Winkle killed. Well, again, Van Winkle 12, depending on the year, they're a lot better than others. But at the same time, I still don't think there's enough of a gap there to warrant spending so much more money over a Weller 12, honestly. Pappy 15 is great, but William Rowan GT has beat it in most years. I agree. Had Van Winkle Rye, and then Booker's Rye right after was a joke. Van Winkle Rye was like water. Yeah, Van Winkle Rye is very easy drinking. Burben, Jace, thanks for being a huge part of this community and supporting smaller channels. Ken and Mankini 2022. I recently hit the milestone of 326 subs. There you go, Burben. Hopefully we get you to 500. Jason, have you ever tried Mr. Sam Tribute? No, man. I want to try that one. That's one of those bottles that always pop up, but I've never had the pleasure of trying. Griff, suggestion for a bar local Columbus with a BTAC pour. Go to Prohibition in Powell. Prohibition in Powell has BTAC. And I think they have Pappy too. But Prohibition and BTAC is great. McClellan's in Dublin, I believe, has some BTAC as well. I think Buckeye Bourbon House has it as well too. So try those three. First ever beats, dude. This year's Handy was phenomenal. See, like this year's Handy, like the Thomas H. Handy, just would destroy the Van Winkle Rye. All right. This is turning into like melon, like honeydew melon. These are kind of ever changing here. I'm also getting a little banana in A as well. B, C. I love B the most. So I'm going to go B, C, and then A last. Deborah, if you're in the chat, did you want me to like try to guess what these are, or what did you want me to do? What would you want me to do with the challenge? Let me know, Deborah. I'll continue ask questions. What's Funkle? Funkle, it's a fun uncle. Just a fun way to say fun uncle. So I'm the fun uncle for a couple of my friends' kids. Hey, Michael Laporto's here. What's going on, man? Timer so. Oh, I love Coquito. Love Coquito. I will message you, says Peter White. I will message you and get you a... Oh, thank you so much, Peter. Yeah, Peter, if you want me to send you anything, I'll definitely get you something. If the Van Winkles announced they were aging their own whiskey for Pappy and ditch Buffalo Trace, would people still go bonkers for BT, or would they move to something else? I don't know. I think the majority, I think like, again, us, I think we would pay attention to stuff like that. But still the new drinkers that go apeshit over Pappy, just seeing a bottle, I still think that they wouldn't care. Just if they just see that label, they'll go crazy for it. No, Eric. You don't need to guess. Just want your honest opinion before the reveal. Okay. So so my honest opinion here, B has the best balance of flavor and finish. C has a the flavor on it is really, really good. Just like the finish is lacking compared to B, and A is probably the softest, especially on the palate. There's just not much going on the palate, but the finish on it kind of goes on for a little bit. Let me at least try to guess the proofs of these. I'm very bad guessing proofs because my palate is so used to drinking high proof whiskeys that I undersell everything. I don't know. Like for me, this might be 100 proof ish. Maybe. There's also a little bit of a sourness to see. It's a little bit like a sour Patch Kid thing going on. And then B, I would say that one might be a little over, maybe 110. I'm sorry, C. And B, I might put in that 110 to 115 range, maybe 120, because it's got a long, lingering finish. So, all right. So that's my guesses. It's such an overwhelming market when you're first getting into it. It's such a learning curve about marketing before you truly understand what's good value versus poor. Yeah, I agree. I think A grunkle. Is that like half uncle, half Grinch? Because that'd be awesome, Ed. You could be a grunkle. I think he's a grunkle. Let me see. I think the bourbon market today, if you're just getting into it now, it's very overwhelming. And if you don't know what's out there, and if you fall subject to bullshit marketing a la Blue Run, you'll just be stuck buying a bunch of different color butterflies and not knowing what's really in the bottle. And unfortunately, that's the whiskey market today, unfortunately. So, all right, let's open this up and see what's in here. All right. Speaking of Blue Run, oh my God, these are all Blue Run. These are all Blue Run samples. Holy shit. All right. So this one, A, which I found to be very underwhelming, was the Blue Run Golden Rye. Yeah, this was, what were people paying for this? First of all, it doesn't really taste like a rye. It's just, yeah. That is very, very flat for what it is. C is the high rye bourbon. So what did I say this was? I said this was about 100 proof. It's actually 95 for that one. I said this was at 110, and it's actually 111. So I hit that one. And this is the cast strength rye, which I said was like 120, but it's only 106. The cast strength rye is only 106 proof. Jason and Junkies both had the Blue Run people on their shows. Hated Blue Run even more after watching it. I never had Blue Run on my channel. Blue Run has never been. I doubt they would want to be on my channel. They were on Bourbon Pursuit. So let's do a couple. Let's do some investigation here. So the Blue Run Golden Rye. That one retailed for $100. $100 for this? You're fucking crazy. Nope. It's all right. Yep. Yeah, no. $100 for that. See, if you didn't know, if you just saw the bottle and the butterfly, you'd say, "Oh yeah, that sounds good." Is it now? I think the Golden Rye was their own distillate, I believe. Let me check here. It says actually this one was sourced, the Golden Rye, so maybe not. But very flat, not much going on. C, I liked a lot better. The High Rye Bourbon. See, the High Rye Bourbon was okay. Now the High Rye Bourbon. That one was selling for $90. So that one's $90. Again, sourced from undisclosed distilleries, 111 proof. So that one you could definitely taste the rye. That had a lot more spice to it. But what I say, it was a little bit sour on C. Now B was the cast strength rye, which was easily the best one out of the bunch. I got banana. There's more banana coming out of here. But again, it doesn't really drink like a rye. 65 corn, 30%. Oh, no, it's not oh, wait, that's the wrong one. Hold on. Let me go to the cast strength rye. Blue Run. Let's see. Cast strength rye. So this one, was this the holiday release? The cast strength. I think this was the holiday release. The cast strength rye. $140. $140 for that? Deborah, I'm so glad you sent me this because this just proves my point. The fact that any of these are over $50 is a joke. Especially this one. This A for $100? The golden, are they fucking kidding me? No. Nope. Yeah, all three here are Blue Run. Last place was the Golden Rye, and that was 95 proof. Second place was the High Rye Bourbon, 111 proof. They wanted $90 for that one. They wanted $100 for the Golden Rye, and 135 or $140 for my winner, which is the cast strength rye. That's a joke. So this one, let's see. See, what pisses me off about Blue Run too is they don't tell you where their shit's coming from. Some of it is Castle and Key, some of it is their own distillate. I will say one good thing about Blue Run. They have very impressive young distillate. I just don't like what they're charging people for it. You know, like their young distillate is actually pretty good. But you can't be charging $90 to $100, $120 for like 4-year-old whiskey. I mean, you can in today's market, and you put this butterfly on it and people are going to go crazy. But they don't really tell you exactly what is in the bottle. Transparency for me is huge, especially from your sourcing. But I mean, like I said, if you listen to their interview on Bourbon Pursuit, these guys don't know dick about bourbon. They got into it because they wanted to get into a market. And all of their stuff that I've tasted so far is all kind of, what did I say about all three? They're all around the same type of whiskey. They're all like have the same type of like feel to it. And I said that before the reveal. They all drink really easy. They're all kind of tame. There's not a lot going on. And I think that's what these guys wanted to make. And I hate it. But Deborah, thank you so much for sending these. I really appreciate it. It's not that it's not like it's terrible. I just, again, it's the prices and the fact that these guys didn't really know anything about bourbon. They just got a bunch of marketing heads. They put Jim Rutledge as the front man for it to give him some credibility. And now they're pushing out different color butterfly bottles for a high price. And that's just that's the way it goes. And if you didn't know that, if you did not know that from being a person in whiskey, then you're going to end up wasting a lot of money on some of this shit. And a lot of the places that I see Blue Run, a lot of it's still sitting on the shelf. Where I see Blue Run mostly is being taken by the flippers on the secondary markets. So there you go. Rant over. That's it. No more about Blue Run. Not yet, but I tried batch 1 and 2, and I ordered the two newest batches that they got. So those are on the way. Let's see. Am I wrong to like Blue Run 14? No, you're not wrong, Tim. If you watch my review, I actually really liked the 14 year. I didn't think it was a bad whiskey. I just didn't like that they were charging $200 to $250 for it. That was my only gripe. And I feel like a lot of it, like I said, is marketing. But it's not a bad whiskey. It's a good bourbon. It was very balanced. It was very Jim Rutledge-esque. Very balanced, a little fruity, some spice, very easy finish. And I think that's what the Blue Run guys wanted. They wanted something that drinks real easy. And all three of these that I just tasted are a good example of that. All three of them, even that High Rye Bourbon, drank easy. And I mean, that's might be what some people want, but I don't want to pay $100 for that. If I want something easy, I'll go buy a fucking $20 Jim Beam White Label. I mean, or Maker's Mark for friggin' $22. I mean, I don't need to spend $80 on that. All right. I think it's Bardstown. Yeah, I've heard Bardstown. I think Castle and Jim Rutledge distilled some stuff at Castle and Key. I do believe some of their stuff is Castle and Key. probably some Bardstown stuff went in there. I think the older stuff was Barton. Could be wrong on that account. Again, they don't disclose anything. So, let's see here. Yeah, Peerless started the $100 for 2 to 3 year rye. Yeah, I mean, but again, Peerless also built a full-on distillery from the ground up. So they had to recoup that money. These guys are just sourcing and calling themselves the future of bourbon. So there's a big difference in where that money comes from, rather than, you know, and they said it outright that it's all based on the marketing and the market and a chance to pounce on people that want to collect these things. So, I'm so glad you like it, DC. I love that stuff. We saw a market we could exploit for money, so we jumped in. Yeah, that's basically what they said on the Bourbon Pursuit podcast. Yep. I almost fell into whiskey marketing, but then I saw one of your videos literally the day before the drop and didn't pull it. Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things, man. Listen, taste. I'll just say this: just taste everything you can. You can't always go by my opinion. I'm gonna have very, very strong opinions about different things, but what I like and what you like could be very different. If you've agreed with my palate, you know, through the course of time, then maybe you take my opinion a little bit more into account. But if you're just started watching me and you like the Blue Run stuff and you want to try others, by all means do it. Just don't let my opinion just kind of vary what you're going to taste, because everyone should taste stuff, you know, for themselves to explore new flavors and figure out what they like. What's up, Mojo Basin Bourbon? Rant over, we'll see. Yeah, no. This rant made my night. Thanks for keeping it real. Yeah, I have to catch up here. Yeah, taste is subjective. If you like it, then you like it. I totally agree. You know, just for me, you know, I place a lot, not just on the taste, but the value as well. What I find value in things might be different than when you find value. So again, it's kind of like a back and forth. Essentially, the whiskey just has to fucking taste good. Long time viewer, first time caller. What's up, Average Gamer HQ? I love that young rye, but you can get that spice for cheaper, don't you know? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think if there's one good thing about what Blue Run is doing, if they do continue on the path of distilling their own stuff, the one thing I would like them to say, and then I'll stop talking about Blue Run, if they are distilling their own stuff and it continues to age, if they are doing it at Castle and Key or Bardstown Bourbon Company, whatever it may be doing, I would like to see that stuff get older, 6, 7, 8 years old. But I want them to keep the price the same as it is now. I don't want them to move the price up, you know, another $50 for like each year, which that could happen based on their strategy, what it looks like. But you know, who knows? But I would have more respect for them if they have more of their own stock that's aging up, and we see that stuff getting bottled. And because again, the young rye, it's impressive rye whiskey. It doesn't really taste like rye to me, but it's, you know, it's impressive for what it is. Age that up, keep the prices the same, build your brand that way. Don't just look at it as, if we put a different color butterfly on it, we could charge, you know, $300 for this. So that's what I hope happens with Blue Run. Time will tell. All right. Let me go back to here. 401 chat. Awesome. Thank you so much. Love a good rant. Problem with tasting before you buying is that when I see it at the store on shipment day, I have to buy it and then it'll be gone. Yeah, that's some of the problem too. You get into a store, you just kind of hang out, and you got the limiteds, and you don't know what to spend money on. Yeah, they basically admitted to exploiting the market. Yeah, basically. We need more people to pull shit out that will cause the bubble to burst so I can afford to buy more bottles. So you don't like Blue Run. I feel a lot of these people jump on the let's source some old stuff and sell for 150 bandwagon, and then they just fall off the face of the earth when they don't do that anymore. Yeah, I agree, but I don't think Blue Run's doing that with the type of backers and money and marketing they have, honestly. What's up, ADHD? I'm late like an idiot, was making cuppy cakes for the kiddos. Dude, there's always time to make cuppy cakes with the kiddos. Yeah, Grinch is totally hungover. He's been hitting that Octomore. All right. I'm going to pull out. So first, let's, before we go into my, oh, thanks. We got a super sticker for $10. Thank you so much. Before we get into the final spot in our top 10, let's reveal the bottles that I have in the running for my last slot and why I couldn't decide. So here we go. First one up. This is in no particular order, but still Austin Cask Strength. If you guys have not had this yet, this is an extremely impressive cask strength Texas whiskey. Now, this stuff was amazing because it's only about 2 to 3 years old. And because it's aged in Texas, you get a lot more flavor, that ultra, aging. But man, still Austin just does such an amazing job. This is the closest thing I've tasted to Elijah Craig Barrel Proof that's in Texas, outside of Heaven Hill. So really, really, really good bourbon. So that's in the mix tonight. Let's see here. Next up is Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Why not throw Elijah Craig Barrel Proof in it? I wasn't super impressed with the releases this year, but they were all pretty still solid, especially a 12-year bourbon for that price point. I really like the C921 this year, so I put that in the mix. Next up is Penelope. Penelope Barrel Strength. This is batch 8. Penelope Barrel Strength batch 8. If you guys haven't tried anything from Penelope yet, I highly recommend it. They're doing some great blends, some old whiskey, some young whiskey, all blending together to make some really interesting flavors. Kind of like along the lines of what Smoke Wagon is doing a little bit. Next up is this one that really intrigued me this year. The Chattanooga Whiskey Bottled in Bond. This is the spring edition. I happen to like the spring a little bit over the fall this year just because, I don't know, it was just the fall was very close to what their 111 was. The spring to me was kind of like a fruit bomb, and it really, really stood out. So Chattanooga Bottled and Bond is in the mix, the spring release. Next up. Yeah, you're going to flip out over this one. We have a Booker's in the house. Booker's Tag-Along batch. I don't know what it was about this one. I really dug this batch. I'm not saying it's as good as Country Ham was. I still don't think there's been a batch that's been close to as good as Country Ham was. But I really like this one. I dug Tag-Along batch for what it was. So I feel like, put it in the mix. Why not? Next one up, Old Carter Bourbon Batch 9. Now, you guys might be thinking, how is this not in your top 10 already? Because when I did my mid-year tasting, if you go back to one of the live streams I did, I was trying to figure out like what my favorite bourbon was so far once we hit mid-year, and this one ended up last. So I was very surprised that it did, but I figured let's give it another shot. Let's put it up against these guys and see if it's good enough to make the top 10. So that one's in there. Next up, we're going a little crafty, guys. We're getting crafty. The Matty Gladden bourbon whiskey. This is out of Spirits of French Lick. The Matty Gladden is their high rye recipe. This is how you do craft high rye. Unbelievable stuff. Only 4 years old, but look how dark that is for 4 years old. I mean, the flavor you're getting out of this stuff. Spirits of French Lick, Alan Bishop, the work they're doing there. They are doing God's work over there at Spirits of French Lick. 55 corn, 35 rye, 18% malt. Using number 2 char. They're just doing really cool. I just want to see what this does against this. And last but certainly not least, the Maker's Mark FAE-01. I like the 1 over the 2. 2 is more focused on texture. 1 was more focused on flavor. I liked the differences in flavors I got from the FAE-01. So these are the bourbons that are going to be going head to head tonight. Yeah, this one. This, other than any other tasting I did, should be, this year should be really interesting because some of these have completely different flavor profiles. Actually, mostly all of them do. So it'll be fun to see how this shakes out. And let me tell you guys real quick, if none of you have done this yet, if any of you guys have the FAE-01 and let's just call it FAE, the FAE 1. If you guys have FAE 1 and FAE 2, I highly recommend you blend them because the Fay 1.5 is fucking delicious. Just saying. Get the Fay 1.5. If the Fay 1.5 was a thing, that might easily be my number 10 because it's freaking delicious. Just saying. What did I miss? Repeat rant. JG. Oh, you already missed it, man. You're going to have to go back. All right. Let's see. Yes, I love mixing. Great to know. I have Fay none. Oh, Peter White. I think I know what to send you now. Emmanuel Elvira. He's doing it right now, dude. Just do equal parts. Let it mingle a little bit. It's delicious. I'm telling you. All right. So I have my 8 glasses here of all of these, and of course the Grinch is holding the key again. So I'm going to pick 4 randoms here. 4 random glasses out of the bunch. Let's go 1, 2, 3, and 4. We'll start with these 4. We'll put these aside. And I'm just going to basically pick my favorite from these 4. And then I'll pick my favorite from the other 4, and we'll pick a winner and see what happens. And then that'll get my top spot. All right. Wait, no Hawk and Cannoli, the Cannoli one. It's my fave. Got Marvelous Ship me another. You know, I don't do picks in whiskeys of the year, just because, you know, not everyone gets a chance to. I mean, listen, you can make the argument most of the ones that are in my top are really hard to get for anyone. Same with picks. I get that part of it, but I think picks are even more selective, especially for a specific group. So I don't know. I just feel like it's not fair to do picks. I did the Fay blend, and he says it's fire. Says Caesar S. Damn it, still waiting for. So the Fay 2 actually just released again here in Ohio recently. I saw it again drop in the store. Wild Turkey 12 year from 1989 in top 5. No, I didn't put any Dusties in there. It would be. It also may surprise you that I didn't put King of Kentucky in the mix for it either. King of Kentucky probably could have easily made my number 1 bourbon of the year to try, but it's so limited. I mean, there's limited, and then there's King of Kentucky limited, and I just feel like it just wouldn't have been, you know, I don't know, fair, because it's only really available in 3 states, and one of the states is here in Ohio, but you can only get it via lottery. So I just didn't feel like that's like fair to put that in. So I don't know. But I mean, it's definitely one of my favorites that I had this year, but I wouldn't really put it in the top 10 because you could barely get it. I do factor in value and taste as well into my rankings. There's what I feel like tastes the best, and then there's kind of, then I separate like what I feel like my overall favorite is just based on value, pricing, availability, and whatnot. So all that kind of factors in a little bit. It's not just about taste all the time. But this will be all about taste because all of these are actually decent values. So it's just a matter of which one I like best to make the top 10. Yeah, no Blue Run in there. No. A dusty best of just saying, oh yeah, a dusty best. I have very selective like Dusties. So, Fay 2 was in Texas this week. Grab 3. There you go. Okay. So while we're drinking through these, I'm going to go through some of my 2021 whiskey predictions. Let's start with the easy ones. So I have them written down here, the ones that I kind of talked about. First and foremost, great craft whiskey will continue. Craft distilleries are making whiskey that can go right against some of the Kentucky distilleries these days. Spirits of French Lick, Still Austin, Leaper's Fork. I wouldn't really classify like Woodinville or Wilderness Trail as craft anymore. I think those guys are kind of beyond that point. But some of these small producers are just making such incredible whiskey. Starlight, all being distilled on their own. I just think we're going to continue to see more evolution of a lot of these craft distilleries coming out. The ones that are kind of small now that are still continuing to produce some great whiskeys, that we'll see. But I do have a thought on what we'll see from even newer producers getting into the market in a little bit. Let's try the first one here on the nose. Ooh. Oh man, my nose is just whoo. Super sensitive tonight. Mash and drum. Yeah, but what is your personal favorite this year, regardless of availability? Yeah, probably the King of Kentucky. Just, I mean, just the balance of flavor and just potency and finish, and it just had everything. It just had everything that I would want in a bourbon. And even at that age, you know, especially coming from something in a heat cycled warehouse, you would think it would just be over oaked, and it wasn't. It's just so complex and rich. You could almost chew that bourbon. It's just delicious. Wilderness, yeah, Wilderness right now is definitely bigger than Chattanooga, but Chattanooga is growing fast. All right, so again, first one off the bat, really, really interesting profile here. A little bit, very fruity on the nose, a little bit of spice, a lot of cinnamon here. Oh man, that one's really nice on the nose. Let's go to B. Is King Kentucky available outside of Kentucky? Only in 2 other states, I believe. I think what is it? It's Kentucky, and I think it's Illinois and Ohio. I think those are the only 3 states. I could be wrong about that. Let me look it up real quick before I um, say the wrong thing here. So this one will be. So it was only 2,700 bottles. So really, really limited. Let's see here. Yeah, it's a shame that not a lot of people can get their hands on that one. So this one will be available in Kentucky. Yep, Kentucky, Illinois, and Ohio. Nailed it. Nailed it. So, ooh, B is very nutty cinnamon on the nose. Oh my god, this is all like cinnamon and hazelnuts. Oh my god, it smells like Nutella. That's what it is, Nutella, like hazelnut spread. There's a little bit like a Play-Doh thing going on in here. So that makes me think high malt if I'm getting a little bit of that Play-Doh. No, but it's not overwhelming like it was in that Woodford. um, Even Coy Hill at 27,000. What's up, the Moose Lounge podcast? What's going on, guys? Hope you did too. Thanks for checking in tonight. Yeah, Wilderness Store picks are awesome. Not as good as Sagamore, though. I think it depends on the pick. Our Wilderness Trail pick that we did was fucking one of the best picks we've done. It was unbelievable. All right. Interesting nose there. Let's go here. This is very kind of funky. That one's not getting much. I'm getting like funky peanut, which makes me think it could be Booker's, but you never know. Hey, what's up, Dram Yankee? Cheers. Admittedly, I'm a little slow, but just noticed the Grinch stole Jason's Octomore. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. So you'll see a review for this one tomorrow. Then I have a review for the new Stellum, the Stellum Black, which is kind of the upgrades to the regular Stellum from Barrelcraft Spirits. And then by next week, you should see my top whiskey of the year. I'll start off with a over my biggest disappointments and biggest surprises whiskeys for 2021. And then I'll cap that off with my top 10 for 2021, probably later in the week. So that will be next week, guys. Yeah, for some reason, I think this is the Booker's. It just smells like it's very beamy. very, very cinnamon, vanilla, caramel, and like dry peanuts. Not sure if it is, but could be wrong. Ooh. Well, I dig the nose on this one. Very fruity, juicy fruit gum. Very, very rich vanillas here. Apple. cinnamon, slight maple syrup note. Man, fall spices. Man. All right. So as far as nose goes, there's a couple standouts here. Well, it looks like Blue Run can make at least one list. You are correct, sir. But again, I'm done talking about Blue Run. You'll watch what I say on the video when it's ready. All right. Next up, our whiskey predictions. More rising retail prices. Secondary market prices have sent retail prices, obviously through the roof, as you guys know, with no signs that it will come down, and it's kind of taking the fun out of it. I don't see this really halting anymore. Again, we talked about Blue Run and what they're doing. I think the more we keep buying this stuff and the more this bourbon bubble stays at its height, the more that we're going to see some of these higher price releases. And I think just because, by nature, we're so curious to try all these different expressions, we're just going to keep buying it. I think for me, chasing new bourbons and trying new things, as well as trying these single barrels, is where it's at for me right now. But chasing some of the unicorns and some of these other, bottles that come out that go like that on, online or whether at lottery, man, I am just kind of over it. It's kind of exhausting. So I don't know, but it's not anything that I think we're going to see go away. Which brings me to my next prediction, which is more systems put in place to curb flipping, a la Old Forester. Now, if you guys haven't heard yet, Old Forester for 2022 is doing a thing where I think they're not going to announce when their new releases are coming out. So basically, if you go to Old Forester, if you're in Louisville and you walk in and they happen to have a President's Choice or one of the what do you call it? One of the 117 series available, the Warehouse K, the Angel Share, or anything else that Jackie Zykin and the team over there cook up. If you happen to walk in and buy it, and that's what you want to buy, you can buy it. But then what they're going to do is they're going to scan your license, and you can't buy anything for the rest of the year. So they'll scan your license, and if that's the hill you want to die on, if that's the special release that you want to buy for the year, then that's what you're going to have to live with. Now, what this is going to do is stop guys that are just in the market for flipping. It's going to hopefully, I'm sure they'll try to find workarounds, getting family members to go in there, buy this bottle. But if they don't announce where it's going to come out, I think that's going to be, you just basically have to get it by luck. And then if you choose to buy it, they scan your license, and that's all you're buying for the year. So you have to pick and choose your special release very carefully. I think Old Forester doing that will eventually set a trend to possibly curb flippers. I'm not sure we're going to see it from retailers, but I think we'll see it from distilleries, especially big distillers like Heaven Hill that release all these crazy bourbons throughout the year. I don't know if this is something they plan on doing, but I could see that becoming a little bit of a trend, just like Old Forester, which I think is kind of cool. A little frustrating, I could say, because now you have to figure out, am I going to buy this damn bottle, or do I want to try and wait and get an Old Forester? But I think it allows, or it curbs flippers a little bit. So, yeah, what do you guys think of that one? Kudos to Old Forester. Albert says, love it. Buffalo Trace has been restricting sales like that for a long time. Really, Christopher? But I mean, you could still walk in there and people line up to get Blanton's and Eagle Rare. I mean, maybe is it for that now, or is it for just their special releases? Because if it is, that's good, but I don't think it's really gonna curb Buffalo Trace at all. This is why OF is the tip of the spear at flippers. Seems like that will make only secondary prices even higher. Well, I mean, I don't think that's a concern, because secondary prices are going up, it seems, every week. Every week, prices get higher and higher and higher on all these bottles. So we'll see. Yeah, Heaven Hill does the same thing. It does nothing. I don't think that's true, Bourbon, because I've bought things twice a year at Heaven Hill. I don't think they do it to a point where it's. I think it really depends on what they feel is a special release. I think that's where because Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, McKenna, those aren't special releases to me. Those are just releases they put out throughout the year. But when you're talking like Parker's Heritage, the Old Fitzes, some of those, I think that could fall under that umbrella. But we'll see. Let's see. Yeah, Buffalo Trace is doing the RFD codes, the RFID codes. Let's see. Bourbon Kingdom comes in, which with OF, it's one allocation a month. Used to be one of each a month, and now it's just one allocation per month, including NC. Okay, so there it is. So it's one allocation a month. It used to be one of each a month, and now it is just one allocation per month, including single barrels. Okay, so there you go. So it's one a month, which will still, I think that's probably more fair rather than for the whole year. So I was trying to remember what the press release said, but that makes more sense. So one a month, you get your bottle, and you're done for the month. So just saw Blue Run Holiday Rye at $2.50. Yeah, fuck that. How do you stop it at the state level? Having connections in stores, holding bottles for flippers, and splitting profits as a profit. We'd love to know what you think about this. Well, again, that's all on the state level. I'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, we'll see. Number 4, more cask finishes. I think good and bad. We've seen finished whiskey and wine, rum, tequila, Armagnac, Cognac, and combinations. Foregate and Bardstown Bourbon Company seem to do some really interesting finishes, but I think we've seen a lot that don't work as well, some really just funky ones, and I think they're just going to get funkier. I don't think that's really a big prediction because y'all probably could figure out that that's what's going to happen, but I feel like we're going to see some really different spirits being used as a secondary cask finish for 2022 to make themselves stand out because there's so much finishing going on right now. Next up, beating the loudest drum ever for direct-to-consumer shipping. So DTC, will we see direct-to-consumer at all? I don't think we'll see it next year. I don't think we'll see it in the next 5 to 10 years. But I think starting this year, we're going to see the biggest push to at least get people to start thinking about it. Why? One, biggest reason, COVID. Some people don't want to go to the store. Some people don't have the ability to go to the store. Some people are very hesitant to do that. So they want to get their spirits online. There are some, Drizzly and some other, mail, keg and bottle we use, share pour that you can get your liquor from. But really the direct to consumer is not really, it's not unanimous on a state level or federal level just yet. I don't think it's going to happen. The distributors, there's 3 giant distributors when it comes to, the whiskey and just the spirits business. And they all have a lot of money that they go for lobbyers and they contribute a lot to campaigns. And I'm not sure that's going to go away anytime soon. But I think that drum is just going to get louder and louder and louder to allow that to happen. State-controlled states, state-controlled liquor agencies like Ohio, our laws are pretty archaic for what they are, and they might be like Pennsylvania, might be even more archaic. I think there's a lot more to do in those states. But when it comes to open states that aren't as regulated, you have more of an opportunity to maybe open some of that up. I think it just helps out the Kentucky, the distillers. It also helps a lot of people get access to different whiskeys throughout the country. We just talked about the amazing craft whiskeys that are being crafted and created. And don't you want a chance to try that stuff? Let people order outside and bring it in. I mean, it's just the best way to share the wealth across the country. But again, I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. But I do think there's going to be a huge push for it starting, if it hasn't already started, even a bigger push next year. Yeah, too many hands in the till. DTC will not happen for sure. I totally get it. But I just feel like I think we're going to, the voices to try to make that happen are starting to get louder and louder. And I hope eventually it does maybe happen, but we'll see. But again, that has to happen on a way bigger level than just state to state. If that's something like that's got to happen at the federal level. Start a whiskey tuber PAC to advocate for the consumer. Not a bad idea. All right, let's get it. Let's taste these, and I'll get into my next bunch of whiskey predictions here. It's fruity, floral. That almost drinks like a cocktail, almost. This first one, really, really nice. Almost kind of like a. That's good. Problem is demand, bub. That's why every distiller did an expansion. Well, I mean, demand is one thing, but yeah, I mean, but I think the demand for whiskey can help drive the DTC because people want to try different whiskeys, not just what's available in their state. My other vice wine has been great with this. I get allocations from like 8 wineries. Yeah, Octomore 12.3. That was my favorite as well. Hood Sommelier, right? That thing is so good. Thanks for checking in, Hood Sommelier. Appreciate it, man. I've seen some recent Wilderness Trail labels for 6.6 year bourbon on the TTB. I can't wait to try some of their older stuff, especially at like 8 to 10 years. Yeah, I think eventually Wilderness Trail is gonna be some of the most sought after, bourbons and whiskeys on the market. I still don't understand that people haven't really caught on to them yet, but it's gonna happen. The Brewbaker Maker sipping some Fay 1.5 right now. All right, so who in the chat blended Fay 1 and Fay 2? Let me know how it turned out. Did you like it? Do you like it as much as I do? Because I think that shit's delicious. All right, let's go to number 2 here. Oh, number 2 is spot on, baby. Citrus, caramel, balance, all the goodness. It's rich, a little bit of chocolate, a little bit of tobacco in there too, like sweet tobacco. Hell yeah. Man, 2 is fucking really good. A little bit of butter pecan going on in there. Oh, 2 is very nice. Oh, man. 1 is good too. All right, let's go to 3. Now, 3 is the one I thought maybe could have been Booker's. Fatty Faye, that's right. Fatty Faye. FA 1.5 is money. Yep. Just join your Patreon, says Drew Fiala. Looking forward to barrel picks. Hell yeah, Drew. Thanks for supporting the channel. Really appreciate it, man. Sipping on Fay 1.5 now also. Appreciate that. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, just blend Fay 1 and Fay 2, and you got Fay 1.5, and it's delicious. Octomore 12.1, 12.2, 12.3. Oh, so you like 12.1 the best? Hood Sommelier? Or am I reading that wrong? Agree on the AE Rye Unicorn. Is that Angel's Envy Rye? 2022 prediction: bourbon drinkers will get more and more into Scotch. That's happening with me, actually, which is weird to say. Maybe not weird to say, but I don't know if you're kidding or not. 1, 2, 3 ABC, but I am not that I'm going to abandon bourbon, but Scotch, on the other hand, is doing some really interesting things. Not only Scotch, but Irish whiskey as well. And that stuff, I don't have to, they don't have a huge, Scotch selection here in Ohio. But if I go to if I drive to Kentucky or even Illinois, I could pretty much find anything I want. Aside from Lecheg 10, which Ralphie just named his whiskey of the year, which is now going to probably fly off the fucking shelf. So if you guys are a fan of Lecheg 10 year, please go get it. It looks like Ledaig 10, Ledaig, but it's pronounced Lecheg 10. So if you guys have yet to find that one or want that one, Ralphie, the legend, just named that his whiskey of the year for 2021. And it's probably going to go, and the price is probably going to go up real quick. So if any of you are looking to try that one, get it quick. Just saying. But yeah, the blend is legit. Take a load off, Fanny. Take a load off, Fanny. I know that song, Mike. I'm with you. 1.5 is awesome. Want to get 0-1 when you mentioned a while back. Fade 2 is awesome. Stephen Holtzclaw, smiley face. Mash and Drum, I think a price correction is coming in 23 as consumers move toward other spirit categories due to market allocation and pricing. Yeah, I think too much of a good thing could be almost a negative sometimes because there's so much whiskey in the market and people getting into whiskey that other, like for me, not only Scotch, but Armagnac and Cognac is becoming a heavy interest of mine as well. So stuff like that, I think people could start leaning towards because Armagnac isn't, you can get a really nice aged Armagnac for not a super expensive price. So yeah, I'm 100% not kidding. Good for you. Scotch is where it's at. Yeah. I think there's a lot to be said about people veering towards Scotch or other spirits as the bourbon market continues to just get more and more insane. No, I was not, Emmanuel. Again, Ohio is in a great hotbed for Scotch. We have some pretty good stuff that we get, and the price is usually a little bit higher than we could get anywhere else, but Ohio is not a big Scotch drinkers market, unfortunately. Why are people spending $90 to $100 on Booker's now with so many Knob Creek picks around half the price and it's older and better? That mountain girl knows how it is. Yeah. I just think Booker's has a distinct I agree, Cohen, but I think Booker's overall has a unique flavor profile that you don't always find in the Knob Creek picks. There's just something about Booker's, love it or hate it, and I agree with the pricing. I think it's too high for what it is. But I think Booker's just has an interesting flavor profile compared to the Knob Creek picks. I think the Knob Creek picks are more layered. They have a lot more flavor to them. But, Booker No, God rest his soul, he said to Fred No, don't let anyone mess with my Booker. So that center cut part of the warehouse where Booker's comes from, the age where it comes from, that's all Booker No. And I think it has a very distinct flavor profile. Love it or hate it, I just think it's different. Yeah, I agree. Knob Creek, they could be a lot better than the Booker's, but I do think for what it is, Booker's has a very distinct profile that's different than Knob Creek, but I do give you the point that it is a little bit overpriced. Oh, see, that's got to be Booker's. I would bet a lot of money that's the Booker's. That's got to be. It is so Booker's-y. Cinnamon, vanilla, caramel, a lot of spice, peanut shell. That I'm going to put this one aside and see if I'm right. Jeff Winbush, thank you so much. We got Scotch. I'm a bourbon ride or die. Jeff, man, you got to open yourself up to some other spirits, dude. Maybe not Scotch, but try rum, try Armagnac. It's not all about bourbon, man. Cameron Lochner, what are you telling me to shush about? Which thing you're telling me? Jason, have you had all the 4 Bookers this year? Was Tag Along your favorite? I didn't get to try the last one, but I did try the first 3. So I tried the first 3. Yep. And yeah, the Tag Along batch stood out to me for whatever reason. Let's see here. Just catching up. Any other home blend recommendations? That's a good one. I would say, trying to think of some good ones. If you guys have any store picks, if you have the Rebel and Ezra store picks, blend those together. Those usually work out pretty well. This year is the year of rum, 2015. Yeah, I don't really know if that happened. Oh, yes, Armagnac. Yes, Darren, Blue Run for the World. Blue Run for the World? Oh, I hope you're kidding. Yeah, I think this would be interesting, Jared. I think so many people have burned down the allocation. I'm not sure how much longer the surge can last. I agree. I think eventually it's going to get old and people are going to try to look elsewhere. But I still think there'll be that core group of bourbon drinkers and that love the stuff. So, great blend. Should give it a thought. Maker's Mark is working on stuff on blends and new wood varieties that we won't even see, that our great grandkids are probably will taste. They are so far out of some of the stuff that, I mean, like coming up with hybrid tree varieties that's growing right now that won't be ready for another 100 years to use that to make a barrel, to age their stuff in, to do a wood experiment series to become, the R2D2, for 2086, the year 2086. They are so far ahead of the curve. Jane Bowie over there, working on that. I mean, it's incredible what they're working on. So God only knows what we're going to see from Maker's Mark in the near future. Elmer T. Lee Tequila. Yeah, hasn't that come out already? Or I'm thinking like the rum. They had an Eagle Rare rum, Eagle Rare Stag, or a Stag rum, I think, came out. Crazy. Lecheg 10 is fine at retail. Anymore, that is no. Aaron 10 did not go crazy after won the online Scotch deal. Yeah, I hope so. Lecheg is peated, so that still, I think, doesn't really talk to a vast variety of drinkers as much as like a bourbon would. So I don't think the bourbon was over yet, or even though we wish it was. That train has been going full steam 5 to 10 years, no stopping it now. Yeah, I still think we're far off from it, from it slowing down. But I do think the more people I talk to, there are more people that are getting a little bit more frustrated with the allocations and trying to get a lot of these releases, that the shelf and what's available on the shelf is becoming more and more important each and every year. So let's see here. Yes, if you guys haven't yet, please hit the like button. 462 in the chat. Thank you so much for hanging out tonight, listening to me ramble. Sorry, guys. The mash bill. Jason, Happy New Year. Thanks, man. I think that American single malt and Irish are the next thing in whiskey to blow up. I see that Octomore 12.3. That's right, Top Shelf Dustin. The Master John, I just bought my first Armagnac 15-year-old. Yeah, exactly. 15-year-old Armagnac for $37. That's what I mean. Totally. Booker's has that chewy mouthfeel. Yeah. Booker's just has a thing to it that I think just differentiates itself, whether you like it or not. It really does. What was everyone's favorite Booker's batch this year? Let's see. What's up? Two Wheels Down's in the house. What's up, Swami? How you doing, man? All right, let me catch up here. Jeff Winbush, I hear Jason, but as Dirty Harry said, a man's got to know his limitations. I know mine, and it's bourbon. I hear you, Jeff. I can't argue with that sentiment. Absolutely. Let's see here. Yeah, the group barrel picks for me is where it's at, because you can get something unique and something delicious. All right, last one here before we pick. What the hell is that? All right. This is going to be tough. I think I'm eliminating this one. This is the one I think is the Booker's, but it's good, but it's not holding up to these three. I'm going to put that aside and see if I'm right about that one. But man, these three right here. One. This is so fruity, so cinnamony. This one's malty. It's got a maltiness to it. There's also like a lemon curd thing going on. Pick up a lot of lemon tonight. Lemon curd, a little bit of mint. But it's also got like this burnt toasty thing going on. It's fruity. It's rich. That one's very good. Let's go to this one here. Oh, this one gives me all the things. Oh, it's like candy, Werther's Original, butter pecan, cinnamon, citrus. Oh, Jesus. I don't know if that one's going to take down that one. And go to this one here. Also fruity. Also fruity. This one drinks a little bit easier than the other two. Armagnac gives me massive headaches whenever I drink it. I prefer brandy or cognac. What do you think that's attributed to, Swami? You think it's the type of distillation, the type of grape? What do you think is doing that to you? Thank you so much, Cheech Artolino. Guys, definitely check out Whiskey Encore. That is Cheech's channel. Definitely go check him out. Patrick Budnick says, loving the shirt. Yes, I am the Funkle. The Grinch swapped the list, and the answer is all Blue Run. Oh, God. I hope not. Blue Run didn't even sniff my top 10. The 14 probably would have been the closest to my top 10, but that still didn't even come close to the top 10. The Blue Run 14, while it was good, it just lacked a lot of complexity for me. It was a good, sweet, easy sipping, balanced bourbon, but other than that, $250, they're fucking drunk to be charging that to people, especially when they're not even telling you where it's coming from. I don't think anything's taking out this one. This one is so good. Yeah, this is my number one. I'm gonna leave this. This one is really good. This is letter F. I don't know what F is, but F means fucking good. That's D, and then this is H. All right, let's go to the other four. So I have my number one from this grouping, and I'll wait. Which one's the? This is the one I'm selecting. This is the one I'm just kind of keeping in the running, and I'm going to keep these next four here aside, and we'll see what happens. ECBP for the world. ECBP, that I could get on board with. I love ECBP. Love Elijah. If this pick, where's my pick? If this pick wasn't a pick, if this Mash and Journey pick was not a pick, this would have easily made my top 10 of the year. This thing has just gotten so fucking good. And this is only 8 years old, this one. But cast strength, friggin' delicious. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'll get with ECBP for the world. I'll get you. All right. Let's get to the next whiskey predictions. Ready to drink cocktails. RTDs, as they call them for short, because everything needs a fucking acronym these days. RTDs. Negroni, Mimosa, Slow and Low Rock and Rye, Wild Turkey got into the RTDs this year. Get ready to see more of these from big distillers. I think we're going to see Heaven Hill. I think we're going to see a lot of big distilleries get into these ready-to-drink cocktails because people are drinking those shits up. I think the hard seltzer is falling rather quickly. They're getting a little bit boring. There's 140,000 of them at the store. RTDs, ready-to-drink cocktails, it's where it's at. And I think we're going to see Maker's Mark. I think we're going to see Heaven Hill. I think we're going to see, who knows? Maybe Four Roses, maybe Lux Row, maybe all these different, Jim Beam. Maybe we'll see. I think Jim Beam already has one, but I think we're going to see a lot more of these come to the forefront as an extension of the portfolio for big distilleries, honestly. You know what? Yeah, DTC, RTC, it's all acronyms, man. Totally. Hard seltzers are disgusting. Yeah, dude, but they were pop. I mean, that's all everyone was drinking for a long time, and now they're completely declining. I think just White Claw and Truly are kind of the big players in the market. All the other ones that got into the game are kind of cringe. I'm a sucker for the High West barrel finished old fashioned. Only thing I really love from them. Okay. Well, Whiskey Mountain's because you don't like rye. You don't like, High West likes to use rye. Beam can't keep their Legion. Beam can keep their. Yeah, I totally agree with that. That Legion bourbon, the first one that I ever reviewed, I kind of liked, and then every variation I've tried after that, I feel like it's getting worse. Honestly. Only acronyms I use is BD. Heaven Hill is already there with their okay, so Heaven Hill does have an RTD. Yeah, I just think we're gonna just keep seeing them more and more. Fred Minnick actually called that out, I think, last year. He said that ready-to-drink cocktails are going to be the new thing, and I think he was right. And I just think we're going to see more and more people get into it because I think cocktails are what are bringing new drinkers into whiskey. So I think it's just kind of a – I think no matter what you think, I think that new drinkers coming into whiskey and bourbon is always a great thing just for the business and for just the community overall. So I think the more people that get into it, and I think a good bridge for that are cocktails, and even ready-to-drink cocktails are good for that. So you can buy a 6-pack of a ready-to-drink cocktail instead of going to a bartender at a bar and paying, $14 for, an old-fashioned where you can maybe get one just already. You get a 6-pack for $14 instead. So next up, more collaborations. Not so much with finishing, but more collaborations between distilleries to make one unique spirit. We saw Blackened do it with Willett. We saw Dickel do it with Leopold Brothers. I think we're going to see a lot more of these in 2022. I think we're going to see a lot more collaborations, not just from a finishing standpoint where people, just take, this and put it in someone's beer or back and forth. I think we're going to see some real interesting collaborations between big name distillers to create something unique. That's what it's about these days. It's about creating something unique that we're going to want to buy, something different and new. And when you get these collaborations now going, you get these big names like Heaven Hill partners with Buffalo Trace to combine some unique limited, something. I mean, me just saying that, I know to you guys, we're just like, oh, I'd probably want to get that. Yeah, because collabs like that with two big name distilleries, I think is where I think we're going to see more of it. I think Dickel and Leopold, Willett, Blackened was just kind of touching the surface of it. I really think we're going to see more of it in 2022. All right, let's nose these real quick. A little bit of maltiness here too. Old Foe and Russell's would be it. Whiskey 2 will continue to mention Swami every other time I tune in. We could convince everyone that the Handy and Schiller Old Fashioned is where all the reject GTS went. I like that idea. Yeah. Yep. So Wolves and Willett, love Willett, but that price tag was anything Willett is always going to be a high price tag. There's just no way around it, unfortunately. I have and dig both. The Stag is much milder than previous batches. Whiskey Mountain. It's the fashion world with collabs. They always play. That's right. That's right. I needed Knob Creek to collaborate with North Face. Coats with spots for the whiskey, backpacks with whiskey reservoirs. You might have something there, Whiskey Mountains. You better, honestly, I would send a letter to North Face right now. Do it. Send a letter. Do it. That's pretty brilliant. Nobody else steal that shit. Copyright it. Black Bourbon Families in the house. Raise your drinks up casually. What's going on, Jason and Brandy? Jason and Brandy just released their top 10 bourbons of the year with cigar pairings. So everybody go check out that video for sure. Yeah, there's a lot of collabs in the beer world, but I think we're going to see more of this in the whiskey world. Yeah, Top Shelf Dustin, the Boo Rye Willet was for 130 was good. He loved that one. Let's see. Knob Creek Camel Packs. Sorry, we were chatting on Stag and Midwinter. Both are solid. Yeah. Midwinter's Night Strand this year. This is the first year it made my top 10 rise of the year. It was really good this year. It was really good. Way better than the previous, couple years. The collabs of large plus small will end up doing buyouts. I mean, it could lead to buyouts. I could see that, but this is a perfect way to describe the Black and Willet. Yeah, it's like a grape cigar. That's basically what it was. Didn't like the WFE, the Willet, the WFE blend. Ended up trading it. Yeah, but again, I think the blends will do that. The collaborations. I mean, the Dickel Leopold brothers, collaboration. I didn't get a chance to taste it. I know Fred Minnick loved it, but I have no idea how that came out. I mean, people have very strong opinions about both of those distilleries, so it'd be interesting to see what a collab would be. All right. This one I'm getting a little maltiness too, a little bit grain forward. Very good though. Sweet, spicy, little malty here. All right, let's try this one. Ooh. That's very chocolatey. Very chocolatey. Chocolate coffee, that's really good. I don't know what that is, but that's freaking delicious. I don't say delicious very often, but that's delicious. I just love when I get like coffee and chocolate on a whiskey. Speaking of chocolate and coffee on a whiskey, the Mash and Journey Whiskey Club will be picking an ASW Duality American Single Malt very, very soon in the early new year. That stuff is usually all coffee and chocolate, so I'm very excited to bring that to the Patreon group very soon. So let me go to the second one here. This one's a little bit more traditional, which brings me to another whiskey prediction. American Single Malt. American Single Malt will finally get a legal distinction in 2022. I know there's been a lot of American Single Malt producers working towards it. We thought it was going to be last year. We thought it was going to be the year before it. But from what I've been hearing and been reading, they're very close to it. So hopefully 2022, we get an actual legal definition for American Single Malt. And we're also hoping that the definition also, helps. It doesn't inhibit creativity with the category. So you'll be able to use a variety of casks. You can use different barrels, different finishes to make the American Single Malt a little bit more interesting. So I think that's definitely coming in 2022. I've talked to a couple of the folks at Westland. They're in collaboration with other American single malt producers around the country to create and to make a legal definition for what American single malt should be. Like I said, without restricting creativity to the category. So hopefully we see that. I'm really excited. There's some great American single malts on the market. It really, really is. Duality being one of them, which we're really excited to pick really, really soon. Ooh. Okay. This is just a delicious bourbon. Maybe that's the Booker's. Maybe the other one I was tasting was the Still Austin. Oh, I'm all over the place now. I don't even remember what those two may have tasted like. But that is delicious. This is great balance. It's nutty. Again, a little bit more of that chocolate hazelnut going on. A lot of cinnamon here. A little bit of allspice, too, in that one. Sorry, America. Your single malt is not in the League of Scotland in general. Well, I think that's what you have to decide, because stuff here is going to age a lot faster than Scotland. But Scottish barley is obviously going to be way different than, American-grown barley, unless they're bringing in their barley from Scotland. So I think there are some producers that can, for example, what's the brand? Virginia. So Virginia Distilling, which makes some American single malts, they use pot stills, just like they do in Scotland. They made a port finished American single malt. Might not have been as good as the Glenmorangie 14-year Quinta Reuben, but man, it's almost there. You give that some more years to mature, it can get pretty close, I think. So I think the ones that are doing it the right way, American single malts, we'll see what happens. Yep, Westland, Stranahan's. You guys are calling out some great, Copper Fox. You guys are calling out some really great, single malts from America. So 3 here is a little bit tamer on the palate, or on the nose, I should say. Let's go into some more whiskey predictions here. More young whiskey at high prices and sales through fancy marketing. All it means is to get educated on what's in the bottle. This is something we talked a little bit about Blue Run. Get educated, guys, before you buy anything. I know it's hard because if you go into a store and that one bottle is available right now, in today's market, you can't really leave. Think about it for a day and then expect to come back to the store and think it'll be there. That's the problem with today's whiskey market. So if you're just a drinker and you really enjoy bourbon and whatever type of whiskey you like, do your research. Look at new releases that are slated to come out for 2022. Try to prepare for those releases. Do your research. Know when it's coming out. Is it a distillery you trust? Is it something that sounds interesting? Is it a new distillery you never tried before? Just try to get educated and do your research. Whiskey Tubers, we try to do our best to bring you as much content as we can to give you an insight on some of these whiskeys that are hitting the market, but we can only get them so fast as well. Whiskey education, I think, has gone miles ahead of where it was, 10 years ago. People know mash bills now. People know distillation. People know yeast strains. People know barrel maturation. People know age and what it means, and sour mash versus sweet mash. And they know a lot more than they did. There's a much more educated whiskey consumer nowadays. But I still think you can know what goes into distillation when making whiskey, but what it's hard to keep up with is the releases that are coming out and what's going to be different and what's going to be new. And so just get educated and try to find out what's in the bottle. And I always give you this one rule. If the distillery doesn't tell you exactly what's in the bottle, it's probably something you want to try before you buy. So that's the one standing rule I have. Because there are some distilleries that are very transparent with what's going in the bottle, and some that are kind of like to keep it under the table, under wraps. So at least Blue Run has Rutledge behind the scene. If it's twice the price that it should be, it won't last. Well, that's the only reason why. That's why they needed Rutledge. If it was just those marketing idiots just trying to push a bourbon out, they would have no credibility. Because if you listen to them on any interview, they don't know shit about anything in the whiskey world. They needed Jim Rutledge in order to make them credible. So there you go. What's the story on the Black Label Rye Stellum? So the Black Label Rye Stellum is they basically took Stellum. So Stellum was the $50 barrel craft spirits variety. And basically what they did was they made a more expensive version at the $100 range, $90 to $100. It's basically the same idea as Stellum, taking Indiana, Tennessee, and Kentucky whiskeys, blending them together to make something unique. But the Black Label Stellum, they're making it, they're using higher aged casks. I'll give you a little bit of a preview. When I did the review, actually just yesterday, so you'll see that video upcoming. The bourbon, when you look at the bourbon, the regular Stellum to the Black Label Stellum, not much of a gap there. I don't think there's a huge difference to warrant spending an extra $40 to $50. The rye, however, the cheaper rye Stellum, the regular $50 rye Stellum, compared to the $90 to $100 Black Label Stellum, those are miles apart. So if you're going to spend the money extra on a black label Stellum, the rye is where it's at because the rye is fucking delicious. So I wish I would have tasted it before I did my top 10 because that might have snuck in. Just saying. Personally, I don't really care if rum adds sugar after the fact. Okay, talking rum. All right, here we go. Oh, whatever that is, that's really good. At this point, it's all about palate for me. What's standing out? Man, that could be the Penelope or maybe the Elijah Craig. Let's go to this one here. The last one. Oh, this one has like a winey, like an astringency to it. I like the Stellum Rye. Looking forward to the black label. Yeah, the black label rye is worth the money. The bourbon, not so much. And you'll see that in my review. Ooh. This has like a licorice, cardamom. It's very herbal, whatever that is. This one's not going to be so clear cut as the first batch was. Another whiskey prediction, more fundraising from the whiskey community. I do see that happening. We raised about $11,000 or $12,000 for was it 12,000 or 13,000? Because I was still getting donations even after the fact. But when we did the finals of Blendageddon with ADHD Whiskey and Fred Minnick, we raised a shit ton of money for St. Jude Children's Hospital. And then that was only a very, very, very minuscule amount compared to what Fred Minnick, Bourbon Hunters, and the Kentucky Association raised for Western Kentucky and what happened there with the tornadoes, raising over $3 million. So I think people are starting to recognize like something like that makes the whiskey community puts a little bit more of a spotlight on us and the power of the whiskey community, what we can do. We've seen it within Whiskey Tube, but you've seen it even more. I mean, if that raising over $3 million didn't kind of open your eyes to see what people are willing to spend on whiskey, especially for a good cause, I mean, that was amazing. So I'm just hoping to see more of that. And, I hope it's not reactive, we had to do that because of a tornado. I hope it's more on a proactive part of us, things that we want to do. We want to raise money, whether it be for Alzheimer's, whether it be for cancer, whether it be for a children's hospital, whether it be for anything, for the troops, the Green Beret Foundation, Wounded Warrior, wherever it may be. I hope to see more proactivity in that regard in 2022. And I think we will, just based on what we saw that happen in Western Kentucky. So. No, Swami, we can't raise your money to buy a motorcycle. Sorry. Ain't happening. Oh, this is delicious. I'm eliminating that one. This is really good. Let's go to this one here. These two are just incredibly different. Yeah, Whiskey Mountains. She raised $11,000 for Alzheimer's, and she has 600 subs. That goes to show you the power of the whiskey community. Absolutely. I think by the end, we raised about 15 or 16,000 for St. Jude because we were getting more donations even after the live stream, which was incredible. So it's cool. I'll just continue to sell bootleg Eagle Rare. You go, man. You do what you got to do. 456 in the chat. Thank you guys so much for hanging out tonight. Please hit the like button before we reveal. Ooh, I just got a banana note on this one. A little bit of banana, a little bit of like a Bananas Foster. Nicholas says we helped raise $15,000 for Manatee Children's Hospital. There you go. There's a lot of fundraising that goes on that we don't even really see or hear about, which is amazing too. Let's see. My last prediction for 2022: new whiskey and bourbon blends will be what we see from new labels. So, if you guys did not know this, contract distillation. So, Bardstown Bourbon Company, Castle and Key, even Old Forester, and some of these other these contract distillers, Wilderness Trail as well too. Wilderness Trail does a good amount of contract distilling. These guys are contracted out until 2024, 2025. I mean, we're talking, 3, 4, 5 years from now, they're contracted out. So I think new labels that come into play, and you guys obviously know about the popularity of MGP. There's young MGP available, but not a lot of ultra age MGP. So those big players in the market, now MGP is a little bit of a different story. They could keep just pumping out this whiskey. They got thousands of barrels that are aging. But when you think about new labels today, like if I was a new whiskey producer right now, if I decided to come out with my own mash and drum whiskey, and I'd want to have it distilled, I can't for about 5-6 years until it would be ready for me to put out anything viable. If I wanted to put out something viable, I would have to buy aged barrels and maybe blend them together and make something unique and interesting. So I think what you were going to see, a la Penelope, a la Smoke Wagon, a la even Pursuit Spirits, Ryan and Kenny at Bourbon Pursuit, putting out Pursuit Spirits. They just did their first rye, which is freaking delicious. They've done a couple bourbon releases. This is what we're going to see. Penelope, like I mentioned, guys coming into the game, buying barrels and blending it together. I think a majority of the new labels that we're going to see are going to either be sourced or going to be blends. So the dirty word that we always said is a blend. I think it might be more of a dirty word in Scotch than in bourbon or American whiskey. But those types of blends, I think, is what we're going to see more of, especially when it comes to new bourbon labels coming onto the shelf. So, and that's it. Those are my predictions for 2022. We'll see if any of them come true. Hopefully a couple of them do. We'll see. Top Shelf raised $25 to buy Dustin a better cap. That cap is a little bit small for his head, isn't it? Like Dustin needs like a nice size cap, I think. Get him. It could still be Kentucky. He just needs like a different style cap, maybe. Man, this one's really good, whatever that is. Let's go to this one. Shit. These two. I'm going to put this one aside. I'm going to keep it to these four. Oh, shit. Oh, nothing spilled. Good. Good catch, Jay. I'm going to keep it down to these two. Take some water here, or these four, I should say. Look at Bardstown Fusion and Discovery as prime example of blends. Exactly. But, bigger distilleries have more of a, Old Carter, Bardstown, Foregate. They have access to higher age blends than a lot of like the new, like I said, if I were to start a new distillery or a new blending thing right now, I would have to pay a premium amount to get some premium, barrels. I don't know how much is out there, but and for me to create a label, I feel like I would have to blend something interesting to, make something interesting. So M&D Distillery equals choo-choo bottles and skinny jeans. That's right, Sugar Kitty. I would actually make like a I'll do a just like as a screw you to Blue Run. I would make a bottle like slightly different from their bottle design, but I would also put, instead of a butterfly, I'd put the caterpillar on it. Do a caterpillar on the front of the bottle in all different colors. And then what I would do is tell you exactly what I'm putting in the bottle, where I got it, where I sourced it from, and I would sell it at a good price. There you go. How does that? Would you guys buy that, or you still want to chase butterflies? Ah, shit! I'm getting sued. Richie Z, cheers, Jason. Your lives are always an absolute joy for us whiskey lovers. You're very appreciated, bro. Thank you so much, Richie Z. One of the OGs in the whiskey community chat. Thank you so much, man. Bourbon Pub Style is going on right after this. You guys can check it out at YouTube. Thank you so much. I already want to buy it, says D. Jonesy. When is your Maker's Pick barrel available? So we picked that in October. So it's looking, so October, November, December. It should be ready actually pretty soon, probably February, I think. It's got to sit in a barrel for 9 weeks before they bottle it. So I'm thinking February we'll see it. Jason, that is a fantastic idea. Just getting back in when you're reviewing the bottles that are going head-to-head. You mentioned Texas. Dude, I purchased 36-month-old, 100% rye single barrels from Balcones. Yeah, if you like chocolate, Danny, that shit is fire, for sure. Would you pay $500 for the bootleg Volume 3 series? Nope, would not. Can't say I would. Don't go chasing butterflies. Stick to the caterpillars that you used to. That's right, Whiskey Mountains. Top Shelf Dustin, how about an inverted Blue Run bottle? Maybe. Nah, do Hornets or Wash tossing different types of grenades to make fun of Blue Run blends simultaneously. Now then he definitely gets sued. What are you calling your caterpillar whiskey? Larva? No. I would call it, I don't know what I would call it. Metamorphosis. That's probably too long. Metamorphosis is too long for a whiskey name. I don't know. I don't know what I would call it. I'd have to think of a name. Your thoughts on Nassif Family Reserve? I love what Nassif is doing. I love their blends. By the way, Nassif Family Reserve is releasing a very ultra-aged Armagnac very soon. I'll be releasing it to my patrons. So if you're a patron of the Mash and Drum, you will get a link to buy one of those ultra-aged Armagnacs before anyone else does. So it's fucking unbelievable. So if you love Armagnac, I think Nassif is doing some great blends. ADHD Whiskey did a fucking phenomenal blend that he made that he had released. So I think it's just, I think it's good because Gene Nassif is kind of ahead of the curve. I think a little bit on his thinking where the market's going, what people want. He's trying different finishes and he's playing around with different types of. He's not sticking to bourbon. He's not sticking to rye. He's getting different ryes. He's getting different spirits, Armagnac, rums. So I think he's kind of playing in all different aspects of whiskey, which I think is smart. All right, this was fun. Cheers. Great live, Jason. I really hope you take over as a #1 channel on YouTube. You've earned it. Drop Scott. I'm kidding. Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. You're crazy. All right. I got to pick one here. Man. You know what? Let's reveal the ones that I eliminated first before we get into the top 4 here. It's 11 o'clock. I got to end this soon here. Let's go to see what the Grinch has. So Grinch has the key. Let's see what my girlfriend wrote down. Okay. She has almost worse handwriting than I do. I thought girls were supposed to have nice handwriting. Okay, I could read it, I think. All right, so far what I eliminated here. Let's see. This was H. This was the one I said was the Bookers. And H is nailed it. The Bookers. I said Bookers has a distinct thing. The tag-along batch. Yep. Yeah, that's just, it's Bookers. I don't know how else to say it. So Bookers gets eliminated. Here's my pen. I'm going to cross out Bookers. Then we're going to cross out Spirits of French Lick, Matty Gladden. I mean, that one was good. This was the one that came off a little bit chocolatey. But man, if you guys haven't had anything from Matty Glad from French Spirits French Lick, it's so fucking good. It's so damn good. All right, so we're crossing that one off. What else is here? Letter D. Oh no! I thought D might win, or D might make a play. It was the Still Austin Cast Strength. So Still Austin Cast Strength goes by the wayside. Let's go to letter E. What? Oh, shit. You want to know what E is? Where is it? Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. E. Gone. Not making the top 10, folks. Holy shit. That was kind of a surprise. So what is left? Makers, Fay 1, Penelope Barrel Strength Batch 8, Chattanooga, Bottled and Bond Spring Release, and Old Carter Batch 9. So those are the 4 that are still in the mix. All right, let's pick it, guys. Let's see what we got. That was kind of surprising right there. All right, let's see what we got here. This is going to go purely on palate here, guys. Blue Run did not mess with my palate. Blue Run's flavor profile doesn't do anything for my palate. It really doesn't. It's like baby whiskey. Just like, I don't know. It's like there's not a lot of flavor there. It's just It's just nah. Okay. All right, I'm eliminating this one because these 2 are already better than that one. This is B. I'm eliminating the Penelope. So Penelope is out, but Penelope made the top 4. So Penelope Barrel Strength, Batch Proof. If you guys haven't tried that stuff yet, please do. Delicious, delicious blends. We're now in our top 3 here. So now what's left is Old Carter, Chattanooga, and Makers Fay 1. Hashtag baby whiskey. Yep. Yeah, Mike at Penelope is just an amazing dude overall. So yeah, I totally get it. So the coffee chocolate one was the Matty Gladden from Spirits of French Lick. If you guys have not tried anything from Spirits of French Lick and Duality from ASW Distilling in Georgia, out of I think Atlanta. If you guys haven't had Spirits of French Lick is obviously out of French Lick, Indiana. Oh, excuse me, French Lick in Indiana. If you guys haven't had any of that yet, this is a high rye, but also a high malt. So it carries some of that chocolate coffee goodness through it. If you guys like those flavors, you can't beat it. You could check out my video for top craft whiskeys to add to your collection right now. And I talk about both of them. If anyone is any of the mods, please find that video, top craft whiskey to add to your collection right now, and drop it in the chat because you guys need to watch that because I mentioned Still Austin, I mentioned Spirits of French Lick, I mentioned ASW, and I mentioned a few others that you need to check out as far as new whiskeys that are out there in the market from craft distillers that are making amazing whiskeys. So please do. I have a Fay 1 and a Fay 2. Which should I open and which should I save for a special occasion? I don't know. Adam, open both of them and let people drink it, but blend Fay 1 and Fay 2. Take half of each bottle, blend it together, and then save that for a special occasion. Just saying. Man, that one's good. All three of these. I mean, we're looking at the Chattanooga, the Old Carter, and the Makers. I mean, this one is just different and delicious, and I'm loving it. And I think that's the Chattanooga. I'm getting that maltiness. This is really good, but there's something very unique about this one that I am just totally digging right now. I might have to go with this one. There's something about this that's just standing out from the other two that is distinctly delicious and different, and I can't say it's like anything else, you know? I mean, obviously, so if I'm gonna guess right now, I think this is the Old Carter, I think this is the Chattanooga, and I think this is the Makers. That's what I think, just based on what I smell here. Oh man, that is just so good. Ugh. I don't know. My taste buds want to pick the Old Carter, but because of the, at least I think if it's, you know what, let's find out what these are. All right, is this Old Carter? G is Old Carter. I thought that this could be the Chattanooga. That's F. The Chattanooga, bottled in bond. And then A is the Makers. So these three are all tremendously close to making my top 10 for this year. I mean, this is fucking delicious, but there's something very unique about the bottled in bond from Chattanooga that is making me want to pick that one. As good as the Old Carter is, there's something about this bottle and bomb from Chattanooga that just stands out. And the Makers, you know, the Fay One is just so good too. The Fay One and the Chattanooga have characteristics that share when it comes to like the fruity characteristics of it. And as good as this is, I feel like this is just bolder. And I feel like as good as the Old Carter is, I have other whiskeys in my top 10 that are, if not similar, they're along the same lines. Butterscotch, a lot of vanilla, a lot of balance, delicious whiskey. You know what? I'm giving it to the Chattanooga tonight. I'm going to put the Chattanooga Bottled and Bond Spring in my top 10 for 2021. It's different. It's unique. It stands out. It stood out against all 10 of these. So yeah, it's just, you know, honestly, it might not be everyone's favorite flavor profile, but this is a whiskey that is just so unique and different to me, and I love it. And obviously, it stood out. 100 proof, spring 2017. It's a blend of 4 different mash bills, bringing out the fruit flavors, the long finish. You know, it could have been very easy for me to give it to Old Carter. Old Carter, obviously, that batch 9 is one of my favorites this year. But this one, I think, is a special whiskey that, I don't know. I just think there's something different about it that kind of, you know, bucks the trend of traditional bourbon flavor profiles. And I feel like for me, I just want to highlight that. So Chattanooga gets my 10 spot. against the other 9 that you guys will see next week. Obviously, for sure. Yep, I get it. Woohoo for Chattanooga. Whoa. Nice, good showing. Wow. Yep, I give it to Chattanooga, man. Totally. I just hear the voice from playing Halo going betrayal. It's not, Old Carter to me. I mean, I love Old Carter. The American whiskey is a different story. If I put the American whiskey in this thing, I think it would have crushed all of it. That bourbon batch 9 is really good, but as good as it is, it doesn't stand out like this one does, like this Chattanooga does. The American whiskey, on the other hand, the American whiskey 6 is on a whole nother level. So if you like American whiskey, that's what I always tell people. If you find an Old Carter and you have the money, you want to spend $200 on a bottle, the American whiskey for Old Carter is where it's at. That's where it's going to be. Is that spring or fall? This is the spring edition. The fall to me was too close to the 111. The spring to me stands out amongst what Chattanooga does. There's just something different about it, obviously, because it stood out. I'm not going to buy a Jason pick. Yeah, sounds like it's gone. It's gone forever. And there you have it. A non-expensive bourbon moves in the top 10. Yeah, exactly. Love me some Chattanooga. I can't even put the American whiskey in my bracket. Stands out too easy. Yeah, exactly. Currently only have one of their single barrels, but it's straight fire. We'll have to wait till spring again. Jason, I'm supposed to do a trade. My Win-Witches Night transfer stack 17. Am I messing up? I haven't tried the 17 yet, Adam, so I can't give you that type of advice quite yet. Yeah, I mean, a lot of you probably will disagree with me with the Old Carter, with the giving it to the Chattanooga over the Old Carter. The Old Carter, I think, is more my palate, but obviously this Chattanooga stood out enough to me to give it the nod. But both the Old Carter, the Chattanooga, and the Fay 01 from Maker's Mark were all 3 of them were standouts this year. But I want to give the nod to Chattanooga, not only because I love what they're doing, but I think this flavor profile is so unique that it stands out. And I think it's great for all whiskey lovers to try something like this. So absolutely. So great live. Everyone go to Bourbon right after this. Check it out. I do want to say thank you to all the patrons and everyone that has supported the channel. We have a lot of picks already. 2021 Mash and Journey did 26 barrel picks. 26. That's ridiculous. And we already have some of those allocated for 2022. The latest one coming out will be our Westland and also our 26-year Canadian light whiskey Obtainium in collaboration with David and Kira from whiskeychannel.com. So be on the lookout for that one. We actually dipped it in pink wax and covered it in sprinkles. Yes, it's terrific, guys. So cheers to all of you. I really appreciate you guys for hanging out tonight. If I don't see you again before the new year, happy new year. Have a safe and happy and healthy one. And as I always say, it's not about the whiskey. It's the people you share it with. Cheers. And I'll see you next time right here on the Mash and Drum. Enjoy my episodes next week of my top disappointing and top surprising bourbons and also my top 10 for 2021. Cheers, guys. And I'll see you soon. Cheers, guys.